So hello and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to qualifying here at the Hungaroring. Now we're going to be putting Danny Ricciardo and Lando Norris through their paces here in qualifying, and we'll just get straight into it. Obviously we've tried to use as minimal soft tyres as we possibly can during the practice sessions, and as you can see we've got 97% confidence on Ricciardo's car, and we're just going to be looking at doing one flying lap with each of the cars. So just looking, also you could see Lando got 92% on his confidence, so not done a great deal. I have kind of perfected things since then. So here we are in quali 1, just getting the guys out in the best possible gaps as we can. So if you're looking down at the left hand side there, you can see there's like a little bit of a wavy graph, and then there's a big spike at the end of the graph. Now for me that determines the level of cars that are going to be out on the track through this session. So you could see at the start of the track there was quite a big lull in the graph, so hopefully around the 16-minute mark you could see that there was going to be a free circuit. So as you can see, Verstappen, is it Vettel? Yeah, Vettel's just heading out on track, and it's always a good idea just to pay attention to the drivers that are going out on circuit, when they're going out on circuit, and how that's going to impede your lap. So as each driver comes out, they're going to do an out lap, a flying lap, and an in lap. So you really want to be looking at timing your lap so that you don't sort of come across them either on their out lap or their in lap. Not such an issue to come out on the flying lap. See Sainz and Latifi coming out, but if you get caught up in them, as you can see here, Ricciardo is coming out. I've just sent him out there along with Alonso, and we're just impeding here Vettel's flying lap. So he's going to catch up to Ricciardo in a very tricky situation really. And I definitely impede Vettel's lap through that section. Just looking across there, just looking at where to send Lando out, and Lando's come out a little bit later than Ricciardo. So you can see as they start to come around the circuit and Vettel finishes his flying lap, you can see like in the graph on the left hand side there, this is the area that's highlighted that's going to be Ricciardo's flying lap. So Vettel's very much going to impede Daniel's lap here, because we're catching him on his in lap. As whereas we've got Norris just in the distance, sort of timed Norris has run perfectly really with how many other cars are on track, but it is very much a case of you just don't know when drivers are going to get sent out, which I imagine it is just the same problem very much in real life. The number of drivers that complain about people stacking towards the end of the lap just so that they can get that clear perfect lap. So as you can see, Ricciardo is going to come across the line having been impeded slightly by Vettel during his flying lap, and Norris is going to get, he's pretty much got the perfect lap really, although you can see on the track details on the right hand side there that the track grip is pretty normal and the rubber is very low. So you're trying to look for that track grip to be optimal really when you're sending the cars out, but the cars generally come out in this session quite spread out for the first portion of the I think it's 18 minutes Q1, but as per normal they always seem to file out in single file really towards the end of the session. About 3 minutes to go, everyone normally piles out of the pits. So you can see there Ricciardo coming into the pit, and Lando just finishing off his lap, and we just need to put another set of tyres. I'll usually go with the same set of softs for for Q1, but obviously as you progress into Q2 and Q3 it's really nice to have a new set of softs to go on to. But you need to reset which tyre you're going to be using for each driver before you can possibly send them out again. Again, just looking at this graph, you can see the blue line, and then it goes to like a light blue and then back to blue. You can see like which is the out lap, the flying lap and the in lap. So as you sort of look down across this graph, you can see towards where I'm highlighting is going to be the best area for me to get a flying lap in. So it's quite a long gap now between doing that second run, and I'd always suggest to try and get a second run in just in case the track grip advances somewhat, or you might start out the session and it's raining and it's gradually starting to dry out. Always looking at the temperatures, the track temperatures, the conditions. Obviously it says there in 1 minute there's 5% chance of rain, which is very unlikely in this session with the sunshine. But in circuits that you know or that you can see, there's definitely a good chance of rain. Always good to get out early. So it's the usual protagonists really at the top of the leaderboard. Vettel, Sainz, Ricciardo, or not Ricciardo really, the two Ferrari drivers, Leclerc and Sainz, Verstappen and Perez, Hamilton, Russell. And then I'm kind of in the same ballpark really as Alonso, Ocon, the Alpines and the Haas cars really, the area that I'm fighting with. So just progressing on a little bit, you can see I'm kind of up where I think I should be really. I'm just underneath the top drivers really, 6th, 7th and 8th on the grid. Lando does generally perform better than Ricciardo, but we're starting to get towards that area where drivers are thinking of going out. I'm just sending Ricciardo out here, hoping that by the time I've done that outlap, my flying lap is going to really be in a perfect window. But as you can see there, I think Russell and Hamilton have just gone on, or Hamilton's just gone on definitely to his flying lap. So as much as I'm impeding Hamilton on his flying lap, it's very likely that he's going to impede me now on my flying lap, because he'll be on his cool down lap. He's ahead of me, and it's just going to be one of those situations where I really timed it poorly in this scenario, just trying to aim for being on that flying lap in that perfect window, but it really hasn't worked out for me at all. I kind of needed to be a little bit later. I'm not sure if Russell's Norris is going to get a good flying run here. Kind of timed it better with Lando, but you can see they're just catching up to Hamilton now. I don't think he's going to affect Norris at all. I seem to have timed that window perfectly for Norris. So pity we're not on board here for the lap. But I do enjoy driving myself here at the Hungaroring, especially in ACC. Obviously during this period where I'm not particularly doing much sim racing due to this shoulder issue, which I'm hopefully it's gradually feeling better and better, but I'm really not wanting to push getting back into the game, doing some driving. But as you can see there, Norris totally unimpeded, and it's reflected in the lap time really. You can see just two or three tenths quicker Norris, but I generally think he's actually better than that. I still don't think we've found a perfect run. You can see the track temperature. I thought it was slightly rising. You can see it's slightly rising there as more and more cars are out on the circuit. And I really have kind of mistimed this run. I haven't got time to get back into the garage now and put a new set of tyres on. And everyone else is out doing their runs. You can see the track temperature at 44, 43. It's gradually cooling, so it would have probably been better to be out at the front of this tail of cars really.
So Daniel, the session has now finished.
So I was just relying on pure luck there to get through, having qualified in Q1. Williams and the Aston team definitely having pretty bad luck really at the minute with their the way the car's set up. But I am gradually progressing with the setup on the McLaren, but I'm just in a period where I can't make any more adjustments to the car. I can't configure any new parts. I kind of used up all my wind tunnel activity for the moment, so hopefully getting some more upgrades to the car very soon. So Russell, you can see, comes out the instant the session starts, and we can try and see how George does on this session. It's usually a good time to come out literally the instant the session starts. You can see Leclerc there choosing to come out nice and early as well. You can see there's 20% chance of rain. It could be a possibility, but very doubtful. If the symbol on the right hand side was like definite clouds, I'd kind of be worried and wanting to get out nice and early. So you can see Russell there just out on his flying lap. I think Leclerc seems to have timed that really well, but as you can see, Gasly's just coming out, really going to impede his lap. And Russell's catching up with Carlos during that last phase, and again it's with Hamilton as well, so really kind of impeded his lap as much as Hamilton was getting on for his full lap. Leclerc obviously got caught up with Gasly, and it really is hard to time that outlap so that you're not going to get impeded with someone on their outlap or on their in-lap. Not such a big deal if you catch up or you sort of time it so that you land with someone else on their flying lap and they're pushing ahead of you. But you can see here I'm waiting and waiting, holding the guys before I release them. Just trying to, I kind of sometimes count the drivers as they come out, who's last out, so I can see kind of when they're starting to go into their in-lap, I can release my drivers on their outlap, so they're usually in and looking at doing a tyre adjustment ready for another session. So you can see, I'm not sure if the guys do have a good run through this section. I think Vettel's just getting ready to do his push lap. Oh no, they're just on their in-lap, so this should be a nice run for both drivers here, really. Still got high grip, track rubber's still fairly low, but that's not really going to rubber in till the race. Fairly good track temperature, 43 degrees, and that shouldn't have been too bad, really. Lando just outperforming Ricciardo once again. But I think in this session, Lando has got a little bit more track affinity than Ricciardo, due to me running the reserve driver in the first practice session. I don't think Ricciardo's totally clued up on the circuit. So I'm just going to quickly put a new set of tyres on for each of the drivers and get ready to do that final run. So again, a new set for Daniel, and you can see the car's really starting to fire out of the pit lane now. I'll just pause it just to try and get things set up so I can see what's happening as the cars are released. 2 minutes 16 on the clock, and I think at about 1 minute 45, 1 minute 50 maybe at the Hungaroring, if you don't get out, you're not going to get out in time to set your lap. So I'm really not sure. So I've definitely got out with Ricciardo and out with Norris. I really can't remember how this went, to be honest. So fingers crossed they're out in time to get out on the laps. So come out definitely at the back of the pack. Should kind of stand me in good stead, really. But I do feel quite nervous as to where the guys, if they're going to get round in time and get across the line. So just across the line then. So a nice high track temperature. A second off the pace. So you can see as the cars start coming across the line, Verstappen's still not yet across the line, so you know he's going to better himself. and just didn't manage it. Didn't manage to get better for any of the drivers. So unfortunately ending up with 11th and 13th outside what I wanted to qualify 10th place, which was one of the stipulations from the boardroom for myself. But yep, that's how I go about tackling qualifying, and it'll be the same for Q1 as well. Hopefully as I progress in Formula 1 2022, I'll bring you a session where I actually get through to Q1. A little bit of disappointment in the garage, but thanks for watching as always. If you're interested in seeing more F1 content on the channel, please do put a comment in the comment section, and if you aren't subscribed already, please do hit that subscribe button. As always, ciao for now.